Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today I'll be covering a blog posted by Interprid Studios covering 10 facts about castle sieges in the MMORPG. Just a heads up, I've already gone through this already, but I'm doing it again for you guys. There are really some interesting things in this as well that I think you'll love. Okay, so here we are now on the official Ashes of Creation website, and as you can see, this is the newest blog post. 10 facts about castle sieges in the MMORPG, or how they want to see it from their own view and our view as well, being their audience. So it was uploaded a few days ago. As you can tell, I'm a bit late to the party, but I've been busy myself. So let's dive into this. So here we are already with an image. To be honest, I wouldn't say it's too early. I'd say like because we're approaching Alpha 1 already. To be honest, I wasn't expecting graphics like this already, because it looks quite nice compared to what you found in the Apocalypse. This is definitely an upgrade. It's much smoother. The lighting's good, and this is like only before A1. Imagine what the actual game will look like when it's launched. That's something I can't wait for. Anyway, so if you're interested in massive battles that revolve around tactics and strategy, then castle sieges might be for you. Check out these 10 facts about castle sieges in the Ashes of Creation MMORPG. So let's see what they got. Right, number 1, massive battles. Castle sieges are intended to be massive events with hundreds of people involved in a single siege, so probably 100 on each side. One of the reasons that Ashes of Creation Apocalypse exists is so we can address the challenge in ramping up the number of bodies that we can handle simultaneously. So yeah, because you're going to have a lot of dead corpses when invading each other's territory. With our latest test hitting over 200 simultaneous players, I wish I was there for that. 200 players in one Apocalypse mode, that'd be quite fun. We're ready to push that number even further. I think on their live stream recently, they said they could push 250 and maybe go even higher over the next few months. So I'm looking forward to that. And then they say our goal is to have the largest organized PvP battles of any MMORPG. I've only played so many myself, like World of Warcraft and Wildstar. That's really it. But I am a massive fan of it. I think Guild Wars 2 has like a massive PvP side, and then there was Camelot or something like that. I can't recall the name of the game, but yeah, so far so good. Like again, in the first image, it's looking really smooth. I like the fire. I like this. I want to call it a tapestry, but it's a banner really. But I like to call it tapestry. And they're really actually focusing on the actual castle itself. You can tell, it's obviously still in development because of over here in the back. You have all these trees. They're all 2D and not exactly texturized, but the castle itself is. So that's good. Number 2. Tactics and strategy matter. Right. For every player, there should be a counterplay. We often see castle sieges turn into a Zerg vest. The number of times I've lost because of Zergs, I'll tell you what. Which really doesn't capture the epicness, which is, yeah, that's true. Back and forth battles we wish to see in Ashes of Creation. One of our key pillars is that choice matters, and that applies to tactics and strategy as well. A well-formulated battle plan should win out every over. Zergs will generally be difficult to pull off and will be immediately counterable through siege weapons, traps, and other battlefield tricks. I want to see how they do this, because there's a lot of games out there which had trouble with Zergs, like World of Warcraft. When fighting a world boss, you just not play mechanics. You'd literally just Zerg the boss to 0 health immediately. But yeah, if they can counter that'll be something that will shine. It'll show how unique the game is and how well they've done. Now this is an image of inside the castle, and I think this is one of the capture points. There's different types of capture points. If I remember, there are five types of castles in the game. Okay, so managing a castle is a full-time job. I hope it is. So should you be deft enough to take a castle, you'll be now responsible for managing it. Castles will have their own nodes associated with them, and developing and defending these nodes will determine the state of your castle during the next siege. So the better the node, the better the state of the castle. Okay. If you've done a good job managing your kingdom, then you'll have more and better options available for deployment during the next stage. Okay. If you let your populace fall to ruin, you may have to rely solely on your own devices. Okay. I like that there's more than one model now. I think each model is to imply or give the impression of like it's given to one race. I think we might find out later. Okay, so every castle is different. How do you mean? So like I said here, 5 different castles in the world. And each having, anyway, with 5 castles in the world and each having been owned by different civilizations from the far-flung past of Vera, the name of the planet, you can expect that each castle has its own character. Different terrains and different layouts will result in each castle having its own advantage and disadvantages. Just because you have managed to take care of one castle will not mean that your strategies will pan out in the next. That's very true, and we want something like that. We want to be different and unique every time. Anyway, commanders will have to take into consideration the lay of the land, time of day. The time of day? That's interesting. Weather and even seasons into account when forming battle plans. So even the weather will take part. I wonder if it's like I can't remember what it's called. It's something that WildStar used. Telegraph, they used it, and if an MA was about to cast an ability, there'll be a telegraph on the floor for you to dodge. I wonder if they'll do that with the weather. If there's like a lightning strike, you got to dodge it in time. I've seen this image countless times, but it definitely looks improved with the graphics. Okay, so in previous live streams, they've talked about like the classes in the actual Castle Siege, and it'll be completely different to the actual in-game classes. And you'll have like a tank, you'll have like a melee DPS, you'll have a ranged DPS, you'll have like a healer, you have a few things. Anyway, every class and profession has something to bring to the table during a siege. That's good. Whether it's a cabal of summoners working together to call and bind a behemoth from another plane, or a pair of artisans creating a new weapon of war to defend the walls, choice matters, even in a siege. So this is something I look forward to. Every class, when they come together, they'll be able to do something special. I know 8 tanks, when they come together, will be able to form a wall, like a massive wall to defend against like attacks. While 8 summoners, when they come together, they'll be able to like summon and bind a behemoth. I want to see how big these behemoths are. That's something I'm really looking forward to. All right. Anyway, again, the sense of play, counterplay is important to us, and deciding who to bring to a siege on it, and deciding who to bring on a siege will depend on your resources, who you are fighting, and where you are doing the fighting. Okay, maybe this month you want to try for the Dunzenkel castle, but the server has been light on high quality wood, and you won't be able to deploy as many siege weapons as you want. Okay, that's interesting. Do you bring more summoners to try for another behemoth and hope they can maintain control? Oh, that's gonna be epic. Or do you double down on subterfuge with your rangers and rogues, and trusting them to get behind enemy lines and get those gates open? Okay.
So yeah, because you got to capture a castle, don't you? These castles are occupied when players arrive on Vera. How do you mean occupied? And their current inhabitants will have to be removed before any player can claim them. Castles will be dangerous to high-level raid zones. I mean, I've already read it, but like, reading it again, it's just wow. Until they can be cleared, and the first group of players to do so will gain them. So this is something that I'm looking forward to, and I want to know more about when it comes to like endgame in Vera for actual operation, like how will raids work and all that, because there's only been so much mentioned and covered from Interprid Studios themselves. See, they're going to have a massive map. And, what they're doing here is amazing. And, I don't think any other gaming studio has done, creative thinking like this. Because probably like Blizzard, they'd probably think of how they'd go about this is probably just having a capture point in the middle of the castle. You fire a bunch of ads to get to it. But I think in here, you've literally got there'll probably be multiple capture points, and there'll probably be like different bosses, and then like a king you've got to kill. But it says high-level raid zones. I think that's going to be good. I wonder how many players you need, though. I want to see how they do that. Everyone looks up to you. I think this castle is the equivalent of a dwarf castle, because of the runes here. It's just how it looks. Aesthetically, anyway. Anyway, castles have direct power over the nodes that belong to it, but also have soft power across the entire region it belongs to. All nodes belonging to that region pay fealty to the castle and form taxes paid directly to the castle. The monarch sets the rate and can use these to proceed to upgrade defences, maintain the castle's direct nodes, or provide buffs and benefits to the citizens of that region as magnanimous ruler that you are. Okay, because I was thinking how, like, I'm pretty sure nodes were castles, but after looking at it, it seems like castles and nodes will be completely different. So nodes, as they level up, they'll also be like providing resources to castles. Man, this is going to be an awesome game. I know they said in the last live stream they're going to delay it by a few months, but that's good because I want a game done right. I don't care how long it takes. I just want it done right. I want an amazing. I'm not going to say perfect, because if a perfect MMO with no competition, it'll get boring after a while. Because no one's going to be so let's just stop adding more creative content. Interprid Studios said, or plan to, that they said how they're going to keep a constant flow of content is they're going to add mini content every month, and then like a patch cycle every 3 months. Blizzard, like World of Warcraft, for example, their patch cycle is probably once every 77 days or something like that, if not a few more months than that. Here we go, capture points. So see how this works. So as a siege rages on, there is a sense of territory and progression to the battle. These are represented through control points, so the one at the top we just saw, and each side starts with a few already owned, correct? Others are present but neutral, okay. As control points are captured by one side, that side gains a temporary buff and an increase their own spawn rate. Does that mean the spawn rate is lowered? The other side will find that the spawn rate has decreased. And their ultimate, yeah, I think it means the opposite, obviously. So yeah, the other side will find that their spawn rate has decreased, and their ultimate victory condition has been pushed just a little bit further from their reach. The spawn areas also have a portal which allow the side that owns it to teleport to any control point. Yeah, because you don't want to be walking on foot or using mounts or whatever. Perfect for backdoor shenanigans. And then destruction. See, this is the model bit. This is what I was on about in the beginning of the video, saying that there's stuff you'll enjoy. So this is a human capture point, and then you have the dwarven. You can see these are proper capture points. They're massive. Like in Arathi Basin, like a battleground, which is in World of Warcraft, the capture points are like small, minuscule. This is proper. I like this. I like the way they're doing it, the way they're designing it, how they're going about it. It's superb. Anyway, destruction. We're working on a destruction engine that should help us make a castle siege that feels cinematic and visual. Yeah, because for example, when they were showing us the current version of like the actual MMORPG itself, I think Steve was when he was playing with like a staff and he was fighting a mob. As he hit the mob, like you screen shaked, giving the impression that you're actually dealing like hard, heavy blows, and they're doing it here. If they're able, like for example, with catapults, if it takes down a wall, like it actually does damage and gives you that sense of feel that that will just be more than I expected. Concubine. Anyway, so having shards of the walls tumble to the ground after Trebuchet scores a hit will feel satisfying. Exactly, that's what I'm on about. And then no other castle siege has been able to offer in an MMORPG like this. Exactly. There's castle sieges hasn't actually been that popular. It's active in a few games, but like actually done properly, it hasn't been done like that. This is the proper way to do it. Maybe you don't need to take down a whole wall. Yeah, I guess. Maybe if you blow open a big enough hole, that'll be enough to turn the sides. That's correct. I'm assuming these guys are 6 foot, so this thing must be like 25 feet tall, if not more. And actual siege weaponry, like, I wonder, because they said artisans can create their own type of artillery. I wonder how that's going to work. And traps come into play here as well. So it wouldn't be a castle siege without castle siege weapons even. These are massive machines of war that enable attackers to bring down the walls and defenders to keep them safe. Okay, here we go. Crafters can bring their own powerful schematics to the battlefield. How they're going to implement that though, I wonder. Or you can order baseline siege weapons from your friendly neighborhood siege master NPC. Yes, NPC, that's what I want. That's what I love. That's what we all love. The castle defenders will be able to deploy their own offensive weapons and turrets. Turrets? That wasn't mentioned before. I like this. Well, I know in their streams they want to, they said they've got so much planned, but they can't tell us. What we know already on the wiki is a lot, and I bet you that's only half of what we know. Based on how well they maintain and defend their own nodes, the sky will be illuminated with fire and fury. So that's it, though. But let's have a look at this. So, what are these? So is this a capture point, or is this a capture point? I mean, I guess these braziers. So, yeah, it'd make more sense for these to be capture points, just the way they look. So, but braziers, they're a good size as well. So human, I don't know why there's like a Thanos type of glove in there. Interesting, probably like an artifact that you can acquire. There's a dwarven one, and see, they even give you like the models with all the colors and all that. Unwinding, so I'm guessing. I don't know what these are. I don't think they're capture points. They're probably something else entirely. Dismantling, shattering. I can't tell what that is, but yeah, that's the 10 facts, guys. I'll tell you what. I wasn't expecting these images to look so good in high quality HD. I'm just glad the way they did it. Obviously, I would be surprised if they managed to add texture to the back with these trees and the mountains. But I'm more than impressed as it is already with all the content they just released now, being only March of 2019, especially with all these effects and animations. Well, not animations, but you know what I mean. And literally the other day, they just said they're delaying the game, but they've already brought all this out. So I'm glad. Fair play on their end. They're introducing a lot of content into this MMORPG, and the map is massive. It's 480 square kilometers, which is massive. So yeah, they started years ago. They're taking their time, considering like compared to most other MMORPGs out there, they're doing quite well. Like WildStar took 5-7 years to develop before it was even launched, and it had a terrible launch. They said these guys, Interprid Studios, they plan to release the game with the perfect launch where there's no bug. Well, obviously there will be a bit of bugs, but just like perfect where the bugs are just not so monumental, they're barely noticeable. Like a decent, proper MMO launch. If that happens, this game will go on for years on end.
Okay guys, that's the video. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, then make sure to hit the like button and subscribe for more content.